People, hey, I was working and I'm not gonna have editing in this video because there's just no time, but I couldn't hold it any longer. I wanted to talk about what I know we're all excited about. This thing that we're all witnessing, this E-towne versus Re-Towne explosion, this battle of these titans of intellect that we all have known, been exposed to, and there's so much coming to the forefront that's been around for so long, stuff I've barely been able to scratch the surface with, but I do have a little bit of inside knowledge on some of these things, a little bit, and I know we're all excited, so I wanted to share a little bit. But I'm going to start off by saying this, because I know, some of my followers are wondering, where do I stand, in this amazing thing? And I'm going to say it now so everybody can know. I'm an originalist. I'm a Re-Towne man. My flag is in the ground firm, and I don't think there's anything that could move it. I think there's no other way I could possibly feel. With all due respect to E-towne, and what it's doing. Those are some of the cutest kids I've ever seen, and there's so much energy, but it's reactionary, and it's inspired by really Re-Towne at the end of the day. That's where it all started. That's where it all lives, in my opinion. In a way, you could almost say that E-towne's, supports Re-Towne in a way that doesn't even make sense with what you see on the screen and the intensity, the shirtlessness. That's putting it all out there. That's devotion. And I was surprised when I saw that on many, many levels. But yeah, so now you guys know how I feel. And it's hard to describe Re-Towne at all, really. It defies description in so many ways, but I've come to understand it. But it's a process. I know that tomorrow I will see more, something new, something I may not have expected. It's really a learning process. I'll give you an example. I've been involved a little bit with Matthew Re-Towne Donovan. And I say it that way because I think personally, for me as a fan, I think that they are one and the same. And I think Matt has given himself over to Re-Towne in ways that I can only theorize about. People ask me, what board? Who's the board? And some people think they don't exist, and that's just not what it is. Put it this way: my theory is there's a board, and there's 5 members, and those are split parts of Matthew's intellect. And so you'll say, well, that's nuts. And I would say to those people this: if you split Matt's brain into 5 distinct parts, I think those parts, all of them, would be twice as smart as you. If you can't see that, if you can't look through at least the first 2 layers of what Re-Towne is, then you got a lot of work to do. People, E-towne has criticized the ride for Re-Towne as a failed venture. And I disagree with that. I think that ride was never meant to make it to Florida. I think if you look beyond the straight facts of what we saw, I think that was a kind of like a performance piece, and the guy gave his time, his energy, he was cold, he did all these things to show us what happens when you're not driven by the right intentions. I think it was a message about personal responsibility. It was clear to me that that's what it was all about. And I was just really grateful that I got to be a part of it and witness it, firsthand. I was involved, and that was really, really cool. But again, it's layered, this thing. And you peel back the onion, and sometimes you get to the base and there's a turd. And that happens. But there's a lesson in that. I'll give you one more story. I loaned my bike out to Re-Towne. And I, under the whatever understanding that it would come back in some kind of working condition, and that didn't happen. But I learned so much about physical property, whether anyone owns anything. And I think that's a big part of the message of Re-Towne. It's your possessions live beyond you. You're not everything. I think that's really the lesson. You think you're going to give your bike and you're going to get it back, and you know what's going on. You don't know anything. You have to be submissive to the greater good, the greater Matthew Donovan, the Re-Towne of it all. So yeah, I don't have a bike anymore, but you know, I always say this. I always say that God, or in this case E-towne, takes from you only what you don't need to teach you what you can be without it. I think there's real value in that. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. There's just so much. Okay, quick fan theory. I think there's a head of the board, and this is just a gut feeling. I don't know. I think Mungleford is at that head of the board, but maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But I'm just super excited for what this next battle is going to be. Is it going to be a physical battle, a metaphorical battle, an intellectual battle? And someone like me can't imagine what that is, what that's like, and what we're going to learn, and what will be taken from us and shown to us in the process. So I'm just so excited. I know you guys are too. Comment below, let me know what you think. You know, I theorize that E-towne might be something about fossil fuels, you know, because it's all wrapped up in the ego and identity of the creators. And there's multiple layers always. What you see is not what you get. So don't you dare think you know what you see. So who knows? E-towne, fossil fuels. It's a guess. What do I know? Well, I'm just me. I don't know anything. But I'm super excited. Anyway, I'm going to end the video here. Like I said, no chance for editing, but can't wait to see what's next. I'll tune in later. See you guys.